You are one of the kindest people in the room. You never say no. You always show up. You put everyone else first. And you tell yourself that is simply who you are. But psychology explains this very differently because what looks like kindness from the outside is sometimes something much darker on the inside, and the people who suffer the most in silence are almost always the ones who are taught that their feelings matter less than everyone else's. This is called pathological niceness, and it is quietly destroying millions of people who have absolutely no idea. It is happening to them. Here's what nobody tells you about being too nice. It is not a personality trait, it is a survival strategy. Somewhere early in your life, you learned, that love was conditional, that approval had to be earned, that if you were difficult or demanding or even just honest about what you needed, something bad would happen. So you adapted, you became agreeable, you became helpful, you became the person who never causes problems. And at work, people liked you, people needed you, and your brain filed that away as the safest way to exist in the world. Psychologist Harriet Breaker called this the disease to please. She discovered, that chronic people pleasers are not actually driven by generosity. They are driven by fear of rejection, fear of conflict, fear of being seen as selfish. The niceness card is not coming, from abundance. It is coming, from anxiety. And anxiety dressed up, as kindness is one of the hardest patterns to break because from the outside, it looked, so virtuous. But here's what it actually feels like on the inside. And you say, when every part of you is screaming, no, you apologize for things that were never your fault. You shrink yourself inside conversations, so other people feel comfortable. You feel a specific kind of dread. Whenever someone, seems even slightly unhappy with you, and you spend an enormous amount of mental energy managing everyone else's emotions while completely ignoring your own. Sound familiar? The cost of this pattern is enormous. Research by psychologist Susan Krauss Whitborn at the University of Massachusetts found that chronic people pleasers experience significantly higher rates of anxiety, depression, and burnout than people who maintain healthy boundaries. Because every single time you betray what you actually need just to keep someone else comfortable, your nervous system registers it as a small act of self-abandonment. And those small acts begin to add up. Over months, over years, they become a quiet rage with nowhere to go, or a numbness, or an exhaustion so deep you cannot even explain it, because from the outside, your life looks perfectly fine. And here is the cruelest part. The people you are performing all this kindness for often do not even respect it. Imagine someone, let's call her Sarah. Everyone at work loved Sarah. Whenever someone needed help, Sarah stayed late. Whenever a coworker asked for a favor, she always said yes. Whenever someone crossed a boundary, she smiled and said nothing. People called her the nicest person in the office. But every evening, Sarah drove home completely exhausted. Not because she worked harder than everyone else, but because she spent the entire day carrying everyone else's emotional weight. One afternoon, her therapist asked her a simple question. When was the last time you disappointed someone? Sarah sat there completely silent. Not because it had never happened, but because she had spent years making sure it never would. That is the trap. The moment your entire identity depends on keeping everyone else comfortable, you slowly disappear from your own life. So, what is the way out? The first step is also the hardest. You have to accept that being honest about what you need will make some people uncomfortable, and that is okay. Their discomfort is not your emergency. Setting boundaries will feel uncomfortable, at first, not because you were doing something wrong, but because your nervous system has spent years believing that saying no is dangerous. But here is the truth. Your nervous system has not learned yet. The people who truly care about you will adjust. The ones who disappear were never staying for you. They were staying for what you gave them. Tonight, the next time someone asks something of you, pause just for 1 second. Before you answer, ask yourself one simple question. Am I saying yes because I genuinely want to, or because I am afraid of what will happen if I don't? That one question may not change your life overnight, but it will show you where your freedom begins. Because sometimes the kindest thing you can do is finally be kind to yourself.